Rangers. We are talking it, and I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is just an exciting episode for multiple reasons. Reason number one, I finished Power Rangers Ninja Storm, which we will talk about, and if you have watched the last couple episodes of Off the Grid, then you know I have been extremely positive on that show so far. And also, which I just found out this morning, which shows the what kind of fan I am. The comics are back. Go Power Rangers number 31 has been released. It was released this past Wednesday, and my comic book store that I normally go to is still closed. But I bought it digitally because it's the only way to read it right now. But I still will go pick up the physical copy because I basically have every issue of the Power Rangers comics from Boom. I think I'm missing one somehow. I got to go track that down and figure it out. But for the most part, I own every single issue since Boom has started making these new Power Ranger runs. So I am just super stoked because I planned the show today, and I was just going to do Power Rangers Ninja Storm. And I was trying to think of a small editorial topic I could do, but then I was looking around, and I was actually on, if you guys don't know who Ranger Liz is, she's one of the prominent voices on YouTube regarding Power Rangers, and I was watching her show a little bit, and she was talking about how the comic returned, and I'm just like, yes, and I instantly went to Comixology and purchased it, so I am stoked. Go Power Rangers number 31, which Go had became just so good. Like it's not better than Shattered Grid, which that's the gold standard for Power Rangers comics right now, but it was more enjoyable than Beyond the Grid for a while, and so it's very exciting. It is very, very exciting to just have this comics back at all. And so Go number 31 came out on May 27th, which was this past Wednesday. And then, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 50, which is, we left off on 49, comes out on June 24th. So we got about 3 weeks or so until that comic comes out. So I will be reviewing that. But yes, we're going to talk Power Rangers Ninja Storm the entire season. And then we're going to talk Go Power Rangers number 31. I just want to say a couple things real quick. I hope everybody's doing okay regarding this pandemic. I know some states are starting to open up a little bit, including mine in California, and everybody just needs to be safe and be smart. So I hope everybody is doing well out there, and like I said, be safe, be smart. Also, I want to tell you real quick about where you can get some Off the Grid merch. So I am on a YouTube channel called Apocalypse Movies, and we have a merch store on there. But since I'm associated with that, the creator Jake Berlin also made me some Off the Grid merchandise, Off the Grid shirts, and other things you can buy. So if you go to tpublic.com, I will put the link directly to Off the Grid stuff in this just YouTube description. But if you go to tpublic.com/apocalypse /users/apocalypse-movies, or you just go to youtube.com, or not YouTube, sorry, go to Apocalypse, go to tpublic.com and type in Apocalypse in the search bar, and you'll be able to find the Off the Grid merchandise there. You can get t-shirts, mugs, stickers, whatever you want to get. Go there and support. That would be completely awesome. And like I said, the link for that will be in the description in this video. So let's get into it. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. As you know, if you've been watching, or if you haven't been, welcome. But I have been extremely pleasantly surprised by Power Ranger Ninja Storm. I was not expecting it to be as enjoyable as it is. And I just finished watching Power Rangers Wild Force, and after Time Force ended, I was just thinking like, it's going to be a while till I see a good season. And I wasn't sure which ones were regarded as good or not. So I went into this just like, okay, kind of like another Wild Force mind state. Like, ooh, this is. We'll see how it goes. Um, and right from the get go, from episode 1, I enjoyed Power Rangers Ninja Storm, and you know what I started thinking? I was wondering why it felt so different, because it felt very different than any of the recent seasons prior to it. And I went and looked it up, and if you guys remember, there was a stretch where Disney bought Power Rangers from Saban, and they were producing the shows. And I figured out that Power Rangers Ninja Storm aired on ABC, and it was the first one to air on ABC. So this was the first Disney era Power Rangers series. And it makes me think, so they had a whole, I'm assuming, I don't know the details per se, I gotta look into it, but either way, Disney, ABC, they were all in charge of this. So I'm guessing they put a little bit of effort into this and put some, and made sure the writing was on par or just better. So I just think, look, this show, every season of Power Rangers is cheesy. Every anything in Power Rangers, there's a lot of cheese to it. It's just what it is. That's part of the reason why we love it. So this season's definitely no exception. There's definitely a bunch of cheese in it, but you could tell how there's things in this season that are just meta. Like, they're referencing how ridiculous, or they make fun of some of the tropes in Power Rangers, I believe is what their intention was. Or if not, then it worked out that way either way. So, for example, when the season first starts, I love it. This was aired in 2003, I believe. And so, like, just the dialogue, the writing, the dialogue between the characters, it feels very timely, and it feels very, it wasn't just let's make up how young kids want these characters to talk. It was like, these are how these people talk during this time era. And obviously it's a kid show, so there's no cursing or anything like that. But taking away any cursing or anything, it really kind of captured how people of that age were talking at that time, and it felt real. The characters felt real, which is very important. And then also the way they react to becoming Power Rangers. For example, I believe Dustin, the Yellow Ranger, when they get their powers, they're all talking about just the importance of it all, and he's like, I'm totally lost here, bro. And that's kind of stuff. And then he's looking at his morpher. He's like, what does this do? Does it have any games on it? And they don't know what to do, what to say, when to morph. And it actually is explained to them, which then is explained to the audience. So I just thought those type of things were done very well. And I like starting off with 3 characters because it gives you time to get to know them. And then they introduce the 2 other Rangers later. And then we get a 6th Ranger, which is awesome. So I really like the original 3, Shane, Tori, and Dustin. They are now some of my favorite Power Rangers, I would say. Dustin is one of my favorite Power Rangers ever. He really is. And for multiple reasons. This doesn't mean anything, but it's cool that there's a male Yellow Ranger, which it's awesome. I don't think color should matter when it comes to, like, which Ranger is which. Like, I wouldn't mind a pink male Ranger or a female Red Ranger, which we have. We have female Red Rangers. So I just thought it was very well done to set up these 3 characters with the Hamster Sensei. Whatever, Hamster Sensei is stupid, honestly, but it kind of reminds you of Master Splinter in a way. So I think that's kind of a play on that. And the way the season developed overall, like, you have the Thunder Rangers come in and they're villains, so Hunter and Blake, but then they eventually join the team. And then you have Cam, who's there the whole time, and he becomes the Green Samurai Ranger, which the Green Samurai Ranger is dope. The suit, the swords, the weapons, all of it is sick. I want a Green Samurai Lightning figure. They better make one. They better make one for all these characters, but I definitely want a Green Samurai Lightning figure. I will pre-order that as soon as it becomes available. And yeah, so also there's a combination of CGI and practical when they're doing the Zord stuff, I believe, in this season. This might be, up until this point, so starting from Mighty Morphin until now, this might be the best the Zords, both CGI and practical, have ever looked. And also, the CGI for when, and look, compared to movies today or even television today, the CGI on this sucks because it was done in 2003. But considering the time era that it came out and comparing it to past Power Rangers seasons, this is done so well. Like, look at the CGI in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie or the CGI in Power Rangers Season 3. It looks like puke, like paint, throw up puke. This actually looks watchable in Ninja Storm. And just the things when they're transforming, there's something that the Crimson Thunder Ranger does, so the Red Thunder Ranger, I forget what it's called, but he like transforms, uses this vehicle or whatever and transforms, and it's like going through this like image thing, and so it just looks really good compared to past seasons. And I'm like, yes, this is what it should look like based on the budgets that you can do and compared to other seasons of Power Rangers. And for me, it's like, look, I've watched most of Beast Morpher Season 1, and it is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's good. So for me, and look, making good content is not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but the things that they do in Beast Morphers, I'm just wondering, look, in 2003, they made a dope season of Power Rangers with Ninja Storm. And what are you doing right now with what you can do? You can do a lot better, in my opinion. And I compare it to, if you look at like the CW superhero shows, The Flash, Supergirl, whatever the case is, I don't know the budget difference. I'm sure the Power Rangers budgets are way lower, all because they're also adapting footage from the original series that air. So obviously the budgets are way smaller, but if you look at a show like The Flash, you can do something that's kid friendly and make it cool and serious and things like that. So just when I see a really good Power Rangers season in 2003, it makes me think, what are we doing now? Why can't you make something really cool right now? Which they need to do. And who knows? Maybe Beast Morpher Season 2 is amazing, and I haven't watched it yet. So that might be the case. You never know. But I did really enjoy Ninja Storm. I think it's awesome. And so last week I said Lothor, we found out that Lothor is the sensei's brother, so he's Cam's uncle. And he's obviously an Asian man when they go to that flashback when Cam goes back in time. And then we get Lothor, human version. He doesn't really look like an Asian man. And this is totally irrelevant. But I made a comment last week that you can totally tell he's not an Asian man. So, and I probably shouldn't have said that because you never know. So I saw when the sensei pops up in human form again at the end of this season, I was like, wait a minute, he kind of looks like the guy who plays Lothor. And so it is the same guy who plays Lothor because they're brothers, obviously, and they're twins. So the guy who plays Lothor, Grant McFarlane, he's a New Zealand actor, and he also plays the sensei. So there's that. So that's pretty cool that they have both like one actor playing both roles, and he does a great job at playing both. Because I couldn't tell at first that it was even the same voice, and maybe they did a different voice for Lothor, like someone else voiced him, which is possible, but if not, then he did a great job voicing both characters. And again, Mara and Capri are the best side villains ever, at least up till this point. I love them. They are so hilarious. I forget which one is which, but the Burnett one, when in the, I think it's the season finale. So Cam is with them and they're breaking out of Lothor's ship, and at this point, Lothor was going to leave them on the ship to self-destruct, and so they're leaving with Cam, and the Burnett one tells him how to release the other ninjas, and he's like, "Oh wow, you're not stupid," and she's like, "I know, I've been trying to tell people that this whole time, and nobody listens." And that type of stuff is just hilarious, and they kept that going all season long. So those actresses did a great job. I think they're some of the best characters in Power Rangers ever, and definitely they're my favorite side villains slash henchmen, whatever you want to call them. They're my favorite, and it's really cool because I was thinking this whole time, okay, so if Lothor is Cam's uncle and he's Mara and Capri's uncle, then Cam is related to Mara and Capri somehow. So Lothor went off and probably had some relations to somebody, and then through that they became his nieces. And so it's crazy, but whether by blood or not, Cam is related to Mara and Capri, and they even say it. So the Mara and Capri are like, "Please help us get off the ship before it self-destructs," and the Red Thunder Ranger's like, "Why should we?" And Cam says, "Because they're family." So I thought that was pretty cool. And I love family dynamics in my sci-fi fantasy stuff because it reminds me of Star Wars always. So it was pretty cool that you had that family dynamic among the villains and the heroes and things like that. And I tends to work for me because I love that in Power Rangers in Space, the family connections there. And it doesn't always work though, because they had it in Wild Force as well in a way, and I didn't necessarily love that season, but it did grow on me to not be as terrible as it is. But yes, I really enjoyed the last two episodes of Ninja Storm. It they ended with a showdown between the Rangers and Lothor, and I love this because if you look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita never went down and physically fought the Rangers. I love that the Rangers actually, like, Lothor goes down to Earth and fights the Rangers in these last two episodes. And there's combat. He's fighting all six of them at once, and he fights them in his Zord. And just the action was cool. The action is really good for this season as well. And again, all relative to other Power Rangers seasons, not relative to John Wick Chapter 3 or anything like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. And how he took their powers away, and then they used their earth, wind, and water powers to defeat him. It was just awesome. And yes, I'm super stoked, super excited. Power Rangers Ninja Storm gets 2 thumbs up from me. I liked it. Maybe I should when I review things, I should give them out of 6 power coins, because normally we end up with 6 Team Rangers. So out of 6 power coins, and I just made this up off the top of my head right now, Power Rangers Ninja Storm gets 4 out of 6 power coins. That's actually really good. 4 out of 6 is really good, and I enjoy it. And look, I said before, my top tier, seasons are season 1, In Space. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 1, In Space, Zeo, and Time Force. Those are my holy 4. And right below that are like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 2, and then Lost Galaxy. So I would put Ninja Storm right after season 2 and Lost Galaxy. So it's not, those other 4 are just great. Lost Galaxy and season 2 are really good. Ninja Storm is solid. It's good. Pretty good. So that's where I rank that. And let me know in the comment section what you think of Ninja Storm, because I'm wondering, am I crazy? Am I the only one who likes this, or do other Power Rangers fans like it too? I would love to hear your thoughts. I also, a tradition that I've kind of been doing, as soon as I finish a season of Power Rangers, I always have to go at least peek at the next episode or the first episode of the next season. So I looked it up and I was like, what is the next season? And it's Power Rangers Dino Thunder, which is the one where Tommy Oliver is a professor or a teacher at the Rangers High School. And I watched like the first 10 minutes of it just to get a glimpse of it. And I'm so excited to see Tommy back as this teacher. And then I know he becomes the Black Dino Ranger. So I'm excited for that. I didn't watch enough of it to give any official thoughts, but it is pretty cool that they're like making Tommy this Indiana Jones type figure. It's pretty funny because that character went on to become a doctor. I guess I'll learn more about it once I start watching the seasons. But yes, Power Rangers Ninja Storm, 2 thumbs up for me. Now, I did not think I was going to be talking about this today, but I'm so stoked to be talking about Go Go Power Rangers number 31, the Power Rangers comic from Boom Comics. Man, it's been a while. So as I was reading this issue, I had to keep jogging my memory on where we left off because it's been 2 months or so since that last time, since number 30 was released, more than 2 months. So I had to kind of jog my memory, but I do remember we left off where Goldar, Babu, and Squat were attacking with the Hodgepodge Hedgehog or whatever. They were attacking Promethea to steal the green Psycho Dagger, which powers Promethea and gives Promethea the ability. I think it accesses the morphing grid in order to give Promethea the advancements in technology that it needs and all that. So, and Lord Zed needed this thing. He's been trying to get it. So we left off from there, and basically this issue is like, it's reflecting on that, and it's also reflecting on Jason, Trini, and Zach being off planet, collecting or going to not capture, but I guess save one of these beings who are being affected by the morphing grid, kind of like Kaya was. So that's where we kind of left off. But this issue now, Trini, Zach, and Jason are back from that, and it's retelling the events of what happened during those 2 scenarios, while cutting back to current day. So it's like 3 days later, basically. So the issue starts with, so Jason's back. And if you remember, Jason's dad is sick, and he's been struggling with that. So he gets back from where they were, and he sees his dad. He's like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" Checking in on him, and so we get that established, and then we see Trini and Kim are out having lunch, and then Billy and Zach are watching monster movies together. So the other 3 are back. They said they went on a scuba trip, and if you remember, the other Rangers were. You know what's interesting? Tommy was. Oh, is Tommy injured? I'm trying to remember what happened with Tommy last issue. Tommy wasn't in this issue at all. Oh, all right. Technically, he is. So Tommy is. He's in the battle at Promethea. So he is, but like Tommy, the human being Tommy, the White Ranger's in this issue, but Tommy isn't. So he's not like in the 3 days later where the humans are all talking. Okay, so we have that, and so then it's cutting back to when Zach, Trini, Jason are fighting. They go to this planet called Zard, and they're trying to find this other being after they found Kaya, and so they find like this alien dog who starts attacking them, and it doesn't seem like it's something that they have. It's like a huge alien dog like shooting lightning out of its face. So they start to have some trouble with that, and then we cut back to Promethea with Squat, Babu, and Goldar, and they have the green Psycho Dagger. They're just trying to get out, but they don't really know much about it. So the smart thing for them is to go kidnap Grace. So they try to take Grace. They're going to try to take her to... Are they still on the moon? I believe they're on the moon still. To the moon where Zed's headquarters is. And that makes sense because she knows the most about it. They would be able to be able to get the most information about it from her, unless Zed already knows most about it. But yeah, this was a cool. I liked this issue. Nothing special, but it was a great return. Just because we haven't had it for a long time. But the most interesting thing is probably about how the three Rangers, the red, yellow, and black Ranger, they're in a dilemma because they have so many of these beings they have to go not capture but save, I guess you could say. And they are stuck because they don't, first of all, they don't want to leave the Power Rangers hanging. They also don't want to leave their personal lives necessarily. And this all ties into in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2 when Zach, Trini, and Jason leave, because in real life the actors were let go because they were demanding a higher salary, which they should have been given. And then the other three Rangers come in. And I love this because it changes history in my mind, and I'm just always going to assume this is the case, that Zach, Trini, and Jason actually went on to become the Omega Rangers instead of went to a peace conference in New Zealand. So basically we have that, but if you remember, Kim and a couple of the other Rangers, they were pissed that they left on this scuba trip and didn't invite them. So when they come back, they're kind of dealing with the repercussions of that. Trini and Kim gotta kind of make up for their bad feelings towards each other or whatever, and then Billy and Zach are just bonding again since they've been gone, and Jason's trying to take care of his dad. So basically, and then we're cutting back to three different scenes basically where we're on the planet Sard, we're at Promethea, and then we're in modern day with these conversations going on. So we go back to Promethea, and basically, which was pretty cool, like the best action part of this issue is, so the white tiger Zord more combines with the Mechazord to create the White Tiger Megazord to defeat the Hodgepodge Hedgehog. And it looked really cool. And every Zord ever is going to just combine because it just looks cool. So they did that, and it looked really cool, and he defeated the Hedgehog. And then, so Kimberly and Billy, they save Grace from Goldar, Squat, and Babu. And then Grace blows up the Psycho Dagger, which is crazy because does that mean she doesn't have... Does that mean Promethea is losing its source of technology, its source of power? I'm curious to see that because I always thought Promethea was a really cool thing in these comics. And I guess they don't, because I think Future Billy goes to Promethea, but I can't remember. So yeah, we get that. So they don't take Grace, they destroy it. And if you remember, Zed said, I'll be surprised if you survive, Squat. And Squat was the one who actually had it, and it was destroyed in its hands. So that was pretty crazy. And then, so we go back to the planet where they're fighting the alien dog. The Omega Rangers are fighting the alien dog, but they're not the Omega Rangers yet. And the girl Kaya, the alien girl Kaya, the Blue Emissary sends her to go help them. She defeats the alien dog, and then they come back and they're like, hey, like, if we're gonna be hunting down these beings who are like you, Kaya, why don't you join the team? But the Rangers are like, are we going to do this? Because the Blue Emissary shows them all of these beings that are out there, and looks like there's hundreds. So they're like, do we go do this or not? And so that's when they come back to Earth, and Jason tells his dad, hey, we are, like, I'm not going to go on any more scuba trips or anything like that. And his dad tells him, no, don't put your life on hold for me. Do what you got to do. And then we actually, before Kaya goes to help the Rangers, we did find out that, and we might have already known this, but Kaya killed her parents her family on accident because that her connection to the grid. She was shooting lightning out of herself and killed her family. So that's why they were trying to call her a witch and kill her and all that stuff on her home planet. So that's pretty dark and tragic. And we know she becomes the villain in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So That's pretty crazy. She kind of has a pretty dark past and is as like establishing herself as a pretty formidable villain in these comics, at least. So yeah, so basically, Jason, after talking with his dad, is cool to go. Uh, Zach already wanted to go, and Trini's kind of, they didn't really establish where Trini was on that. So once all that is established, we go to the command center, and they're telling Zordon that they're gonna leave, and Zordon's like, "Look, this happens. Nobody's a Ranger forever. I'm proud of you guys." But it makes me wonder, is Zordon really that dumb? And also, Zordon and Alpha could totally track them down in New Zealand and to see if they're really there or if they're leaving to go to space. So I have a feeling that Zordon really knows what's going on and he's letting it play out and happen as he sees fit. And maybe those three Rangers not telling the other three, and Zordon's maybe behind is supporting that, because that means they would want to leave too to go help. So, and it would be a whole thing, and Kim would throw a fit. So Jason didn't want anybody to know, but Zach and Trini eventually found out. So they can't take all 6 Rangers with them. So as they're telling Zordon that they're going to leave, Zordon says, "We're going to have to find some replacements since Lord Zed's still out there doing his thing." And it shows a small piece of the page has Rocky, Aisha, and Adam rollerblading, which is so cool because that their first appearance in the show in season 2, they're rollerblading through the park, which is so awesome. I love how committed, how loyal these comics are to the show without saying they have to be tied down to everything that happened in the show. They basically live within the canon of the show, but they flip it kind of on its head and change things that are changed. Like, instead of, so they did tell them they were going on a peace conference in New Zealand, but they didn't actually do that. They were going to become the Omega Rangers. So things like that. I love how they honor the TV show as well. Just by little Easter eggs, like showing Rocky, Adam, and Aisha rollerblading, which is so cool. So then the end of the issue cuts to Lord Zed yelling at Squat, telling him he messed up and all that. And he says, whatever, Serpentera is coming. So if you guys don't know what Serpentera is, it is the big, humongous, like big, huge dragon Zord that Zed uses. He uses it in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Goldar, and it is just, I believe he defeats the Power Rangers with it at one point, or he's like takes over Earth, or does he basically, when Serpentera shows up in the TV show, it's like, oh shoot, how were they going to defeat it? And so Serpentera is very powerful, just a huge giant Zord. And we saw Serpentera in Power Rangers, I believe is it Wild Force? Yeah, it is Wild Force, where the Forever Red episode where Serpentera gets destroyed by the Red Ranger. So yeah, Serpentera is a big deal because he can do some damage with that. So I can't wait to see where that goes. And I thought there was a thing that came out that Go-Go was ending with issue number 30, and maybe it was a different number that they were going to end with. But I'm so glad we got this issue number 31. I really did like it. So let me know what you thought in the comment section. Like, this isn't a great issue, but I'm just super excited about it because we haven't had Power Ranger comics for so long. So yeah, so that's going to do it for this episode of Off the Grid. Thank you for watching. And yes, like I said, let me know what you thought of Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Let's talk about it. I would love to talk about it. Also, what did you think of Go-Go Power Rangers number 31? That would be awesome if we could get some discussions going. So let me know in the comment section what you thought of those. And also, please don't forget to go to tpublic.com. I'm going to put the link in the description here and get yourself some Off the Grid gear. If you do get yourself some Off the Grid gear, tweet at me, tweet at Jacob Bartley 824 with some Off the Grid gear. I would love to see that. And yes, again, I'm Jacob Bartley, your host. that's going to do it this week. I will see you all next Sunday. Until then, may the power protect you.